Richard and Rachel, good to see you both after all this time. It's been a long 6 months for everybody. How's it been for you guys surviving and thriving in this time of coronavirus?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Yep. Go. Take it. Boop, 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 boop.
As usual, Rich is taking up too much of the spotlight. How's it been for you guys surviving and thriving in this time of coronavirus? You've been based in Europe for most of the time, Rich.
Came across to Europe in about March side, literally just before Corona started to literally take off. And we got here and we managed to get married as well, which was amazing. And we managed to do some training. Luckily we had some facilities close by here we could swim. And we could generally do most of the things we usually do, so I would say we're in a fortunate position here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there were a couple of things holding us back from training, and also you don't have a race to look forward to, so it's kind of tough to keep motivated all the time. But yeah, we had all the facilities to do the training, so we've been pretty lucky.
Now, forget all the triathlon stuff. You got married, as you mentioned, right at the start of all this madness. Rachel, tell us about the wedding, a small but a very special group and I imagine an incredibly special day.
Yeah, so we actually plan on getting married at the end of this year, which we will probably have to get cancelled. So we decided to get married earlier this year because my mum was very sick and sorry for the emotions. We're happy, sorry for that. No, we're happy that she could be there and it was an amazing day. Unfortunately, she's not here anymore with us, which made it even more tough. But if you talk about Corona, actually for me it was pretty good. So I didn't have to make the decision to go race and everything. So yeah, we did get married a bit different than most people do probably. And we hope to get another big wedding, probably next year.
Big wedding, small wedding, as long as the people that are closest to you were there, and that's exactly what happened. Now, I was wondering, did Rich write his own wedding vows, and if so, were they in any way triathlon related?
I did write my own wedding vows as well, and I was quite brave, and I said I'd do them in Dutch as well, which was like next level tough for me because my Dutch is... I would say not great is definitely the word, but yeah, there was nothing, well there were some triathlon related things in it about charging bike computers and the like, but definitely there was some fun stuff thrown in there. Of course you got to keep it fun, and it was quite an amazing day, and great to have everyone there apart from my family because they couldn't fly over, so none of my family members were here during my wedding, which was not ideal, but you know, I think this is the world we're living currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we've all been experiencing highs and lows, and you guys have certainly experienced both of those. I'm interested in how you've been staying motivated. I've been watching along on Rich on your YouTube channel, which I should plug as Richard Murray Tri, because it's there's a lot of content on there at the moment, and we've seen you attempt PBs, trying to stay, I guess, mentally fit and have goals. So for both of you, have you battled flat spots mentally, training-wise, not knowing what's coming next? And has that been part of keeping you guys motivated?
Yeah, I think we're very lucky that we can train together. The biggest difference is that Richard likes to go set his own little goals, like make his own little races. And I'm not really that type of person who enjoys racing if it's not really a race, like if there's no spectators, if there's nothing there. So he goes all out and I'm just like, oh, this is so hard, this is so horrible. I want to have a real race, like with real people. So I would rather just make the long hours and just like enjoy the long rides and the boring stuff. And Richard likes to not train a lot, but go all out. So I think we just managed to find a good combination of those two.
Yeah, I think having some goals during that period of like March, kind of April, May side, because we were planning for everything, the Olympics, and then all of a sudden everything kind of just went like, okay, well now you can retire and maybe Rachel should get pregnant and we should have kids. But I thought maybe that's a little bit extreme. Maybe we should rather set some goals, and I should try and run fast around the block and try and do something fun or do something that I haven't done or something like that. And then I was like, oh, may as well start my YouTube channel because I've got this awesome video, what I'm going to do with it. And that's kind of how my whole YouTube channel kind of started a little bit. And now it's kind of spiraled into me spending way too much time editing stuff.
Yes, especially the last thing. Spending way too much time editing stuff.
I think it's cool to, I think it's another medium just to kind of give back and kind of give advice and show people more of our lives a little bit versus just kind of Instagram and Twitter and those things. But no, I definitely think it's been good to set goals and try to have something that's actually concrete, because I think nowadays, especially this year, things are very cementish. There's not all that much concrete going on, so it's kind of nice to have something that you kind of plan yourself and go ahead and try and do.
Yeah, you would definitely cut back training to have more time to edit your videos.
Yeah, I've got to prioritize time now, because you know the editing and the training kind of take up my whole day. So.
No, I understand. Maybe if that's what takes up your whole day, you shouldn't have kids, because they do take up a little bit of time. But it is important though to look good first and win second. So as long as you look good on YouTube, it doesn't really matter what training you're doing.
No, I think you've got to look ripped though, so you can't get fat, but you definitely got to make sure that.
Yeah, okay. Let's skip this part.
The racing this year. I think we'll see. We'll obviously see what happens and go accordingly. But yeah, I think it's cool to kind of give back and try and start something new.
All right, let's talk racing then. It is race week. Obviously, this interview will be on during the middle of the racing specifically, but this is race week. That we're going to have those nerves again. And what have you done to get ready for this race specifically? Because it's something none of us have ever done before.
Yeah, like the indoor type of racing is definitely different. Like I have never done something like this before. So we got a curved treadmill because that seemed to be like the biggest issue there. Figured out that it was really hard to run on it. If everything is correct, I'm using one of those strides and I'm running the same pace all out on that treadmill, what I normally do on an easy run on the road. So that's got to be interesting. So we've definitely done a little bit more like of the short stuff, and yeah, if you would ask me if I'm excited, then you can maybe remember the first ever interview I did with Superleague. So that wasn't so much excitement going on there.
I think when people do their first Zwift race online, if anyone's done like a Zwift race cycling wise and it's like, man, that was one of the hardest things I've done. This is probably going to be in that realm, but then we throw in some swimming and cycling on top of the Zwift, yeah. So it's going to be pretty meaty. But yeah, I think getting the treadmill was quite cool. Luckily, we've got the Fitness Occasions, which is like a sporting equipment supplier here. They do all the different types of stuff, and so they said, "No, you guys have got to try this treadmill out." So we were headed there like the hottest day in summer, and
like
I'm like thinking,
outside.
man, I hope we're going to be inside an air-conditioned room, and then we were outside, and I was like, man, we're going to lose like 2-3 kilos of body weight here today. But it was great to test it out, and we tried different ways and different shoes and whole bunch of different strategies. And so yeah, it was great to try and get, have some type of goal. And I was hoping that Rotterdam doesn't get cancelled, because we got this treadmill and we ran outside, and so looking forward to it.
Well, you're ready, and it's obviously not been cancelled. In fact, Rachel, this interview is going to be going on air after the women's race, but before the men's race. So okay. I'm going to ask you for your predictions about how the women's race is going to shake out, and then we can all laugh at how wrong you got it potentially out, because it's already happened. But what do you think about how the women's race is going to go? There's some good names there. There's some really strong swimmers. There's some bike runners, and obviously we're talking completely different formats to usual. So how do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a different thing. I have no idea how everyone else, what fitness everyone else is, so that's one tough thing. But also, normally in like normal Super League races, you've got like tactics, especially tactics and skills. And those two things kind of fall away now. I mean, you don't know where everyone is at. You don't use your skills on the bike or even on the run or on the swim. It's just going all out. So that changes it a lot too, and I think that might have some surprises there. Like athletes, which you maybe normally don't see at the top, will be like out there because it's like super short, and like I think you have to be a really strong athlete and fast. But yeah, once again, it's different. Like even on Zwift, I've done like 4 Zwift races now, and it was something different.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard. Rich, how do you see the men's race playing out as well? Obviously, coming out of the swim onto the bike or whatever it is, because we're switching it up. There's drafting, of course, in the Zwift 4 kilometres, and I think that's going to be important to make sure that you're with someone. But there's some really strong athletes across the men's field, and getting a good start is going to be crucial.
Yeah, I definitely think this round of Superleague Arena Games is going to be, I hate to say more towards the swimmers, but there's no swimming, there's no drafting in the swim, and I think the difference between myself probably being one of the slower swimmers and probably like Heavy or Martin van Riel, they're probably going to swim closer to 2 minutes odd for the 200 meters in the 50 meter pool. I'm probably going to be more 220-ish, somewhere around those regions. I'm going to be a bit back coming out the water. And obviously on Zwift, that makes a big difference. If anyone's watched Zwift, if you're like 10 meters off the bunch, you're gone. Like that's it. There's no, you can ride yourself back into the group. So I think the first round will be obviously swim oriented, and obviously it depends on who's going to be in the group on the bike. Those guys will get probably 20-30 second advantage off the bike, extra after the bike than the guys just behind. It's going to be interesting to see how people work together on Zwift, actually. I don't think there's ever been a triathlon in history that I know of that people actually go from a swimming pool to Zwift. So this is like the first. This is breaking, making history, more or less, which is quite cool. And then running on a round treadmill, I don't think that's ever happened either. So there's a lot of firsts going on here, and I really hope somebody is going to fall on the treadmill, because it'll make beautiful television, that's for sure.
Yeah, now you're speaking my language, mate. I'm hoping that is what's been a lot of wet bodies getting on and off curve runners, and they're very, very hard to make work. One last question I want to ask both of you is transition. I mean, we haven't been talking that much about transition, and there's a 50-metre run between stage 1 and stage 2, and then stage 2 and stage 3. There's 125 metres of running in between each of the different stations, if you like. I mean, how crucial when the distances are so short is getting your transition right, obviously getting onto your bike, clipping in properly, getting onto the runner properly. There's so many pitfalls when your heart rate is so high.
You can't say everything now, because it's got to be played before your race, so you've got to keep those secrets.
No, that's true. There's a lot of we've got all these secrets like hidden in the closet. You know, that sounds bad, but I think we've got a couple of things that we've tested out and we've tried. Hopefully, there's not going to be too much slipping going on, because running around the pool apparently in South Africa is illegal to run around. So the carpet burn might be on like an all-time high.
I can see everyone coming out with like red pieces, like skin coming off and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're also going to be a lot more, it's going to be probably a little bit humid as well inside, so things are going to stay wet a lot longer. The bikes are going to be like they're in the swimming pool, because they technically are in the swimming pool. Running on the treadmill, it's going to be a lot of sweat, so people are going to probably lose quite a bit of body weight as well. I think it's going to be quite exciting to see what people do with shoe combinations, or on the bike, or if people bike without shoes on, just barefoot on the bike, or it depends on kind of like what strategy you have. Or people might even swim with their shoes on. We have no idea what's going to happen.
That sounds like a great idea to me, swimming with shoes on.
Yeah, but if you have those 5-finger shoes that go like just on your toes, you could probably swim with those.
That's true.
So it depends on.
Also, we still have to see everything. I mean, we saw everything on photo. We kind of have an idea of how it is, but it's also good to be there and then see like where your bike will be and which lane you'll be swimming. I think that does change a bit.
I think also the athletes on.
I think it definitely does.
Depending which athlete. I mean, some athletes obviously are come from a pool swimming background, so they're really good at swimming and tumble turning in a pool and underwater and all this certain stuff. They're probably more skilled at that. Versus a lot of triathletes kind of some are better for open water. So it'll be interesting to see.
It's also a lot of things you don't think about. Like yesterday we were swimming with our swimming coach, and suddenly he said, like, have you thought about like how you're gonna do those tumble turns and how you're gonna dive in? And we're like, Oh yeah, wait. Like it's like swimming. It's like a swimming race. It's not just swimming. It's not like
there is
snacking.
there is no smashing each other, which is
It's
like
gonna
my
be different.
favorite part of triathlon. Like I'm not going to have Bloomy next to me. There's not going to be no fighting, which is going to be a bit different. But
Well, there's certainly going to be a lot of variables, and it sounds like you guys have thought of as much as you possibly can. I hope to see some crazy innovations. Superleague is all about that. Thank you so much, both of you, for taking the time to join us from lockdown where you are. We cannot wait to see you this weekend.
We do. We're very excited.
awesome, great. If the guys can subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be epic, because we're going to make some cool videos from Super League coming from it.
There.
You guys will see it coming shortly.
Thanks, guys. Got that plug in at the end.
Boom.
Guys, go well this weekend and best of luck.